Hi, everyone. I'm Zach from Hightouch, and I'm excited to kick off our first webinar of the week on how Gorgias does data-driven marketing. And so we got some awesome speakers. Noemi, I'll let you introduce yourself first.
Yeah, so hey everyone, I'm Noemi. I'm working at Gorgias in the Growth Ops team. So I've joined Gorgias in May 2020. And so, yeah, so our solution, Gorgias, it's a SaaS, an e-commerce help desk solution. And our goal is to empower all merchants to deliver exceptional support.
Amazing. Ollie, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hey, I'm Ole. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Dreamdata. We built a data platform that gathers all your commercial data and gives you insight into both attribution, revenue related, and anything else revenue related data. And hopefully today we can talk a little bit about how you guys can use that for something fun.
Yeah. And hi, I'm Zach. I run marketing at Hightouch. So Hightouch is basically the easiest way to move data from any data source, let's say a data warehouse, even a spreadsheet, to any of your tools. So your CRMs, your email tools, your ad networks. And the best part is you don't have to write any custom integrations. So you don't have to rely on an engineering team to get data into all the tools you use every day. And all right, I'll hand it off to Noemi to talk more about Gorgias.
Yeah, sure. So so Gorgias, for those who are not familiar with the tool, it's a startup that is in a hyper growth, I would say. It's been founded in 2015 by Romain and Alex, that you can see in the pictures here. And so, yeah, our goal, as I mentioned earlier, is to provide a platform that would, that would gather all the existing conversations from, Twitter as well as WhatsApp or Instagram, Facebook, all the tickets that anyone can have as customers. And so it relies on a lot of automations. And if we go to the next slide, you'll see, so a bit more about our team in the Growth Ops team. That is the equivalent of a data team, basically. And so, so our goal, again, is to empower all merchants to deliver an exceptional customer experience. And so as part of the Growth Ops team, we are empowering all the other growth teams by providing, efficient data, strategic data based out of automations, building integrations. And so, data is key, definitely, to have a unified view and a holistic view of all of our customers' journeys to enable the other growth teams, may it be growth marketing or business development, product success. And so our goal really is to answer the needs of all of these teams. So would it be via personalization, retargeting, product experimentation? And for this, we are using a lot of different tools, including Dreamdata and Hightouch. And so actually, if we go to the next slide, so here, so one of our main metrics at Gorgias, especially as part of the growth teams, is to be focused on ARR and retention. So of course, as the growth ops team, we're not really looking into, it's an important metric, but it's mostly important for the team that we're serving. So growth marketing and business development mostly. And so, we really need to be data driven. Everything needs to be backed up with data. One of our core values is maximizing our impact. And for this, we need to leverage data a lot. And so we're using a bunch of tools for this to help all the other growth teams, to have strategic insights, strategic data in our database tools. So for this, we're using HubSpot as our CRM. We're also using customer.io for automations, for marketing emails, etc. For ads, we're using a lot of Facebook and Google ads. But the core tool that we're using is Segment for event tracking. So everything goes through Segment, at least for all the event-based informations. And we're collecting all this in BigQuery. That is our data warehouse, at least for all the growth informations. We recently started to use Fivetran too. That is mostly for all of our object-based instances. So again, HubSpot, pushing HubSpot data through Fivetran to BigQuery. and a lot of other tools like Vitally for CSMs and for automations, Zapier, all of the cloud functions. We're building a lot of cloud functions via GCP and HubSpot workflows too. So yeah, that's yeah, these are our tools.
Super awesome. I think it's really cool to see, growth team really focus on the company's core bottom line, which is, ARR and retention. I think that's pretty unique and makes a lot of sense that if you're focusing on those very data-driven metrics, that you'll have to be a very data-driven team as well.
That's something the audience can really should listen into here, because I think that's extraordinary that you have these type of Gorgias is really, really, for me, an exciting company to work with, because they look like everyone has to drive value, and the purpose of is drive value to their customers and the company, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, everything is backed up with data. It's super important for us.
Yeah, and just to chime in, if you have any questions throughout this the webinar, feel free to chime in and ask them in the Q&A section. Even it doesn't have to just be a question about the tech stack, but also can be about like goals and people and anything about running a data-driven marketing team.
Yeah. Yeah, so in terms of challenges, what we had, so the reason why, to have a data-driven marketing team, we had to overcome a lot of different challenges. The first one that is a subject that we had for maybe 1.5 years or even more, was to transition to a multi-touch attribution model. Knowing that we used to be in a single source attribution model. So for those who are not familiar with this, the goal really is to, as we are data-driven and AR-driven, the goal is to being able to reward, the right acquisition channel that brought the lead. And so at that point, we were only using a single source model. So yeah, just rewarding one channel. And now as we're growing and there's a lot more touch points all throughout the customer journey, we needed to transition to a multi-touch model. And so for this, the main goal was to have first a robust tracking system with clean data through our segment tool. And something that was super important for us too was to gather everything, all the customer journey data points in one place, so that the marketing team, so yes, the ads channel, the outbound channel, any related marketing team, for them to be able to have a clear vision and view of what a customer journey looks like. And then once we had this multi-touch attribution model, the main challenge was also to not only have the data and do nothing with it, but especially being able to understand the performance of each of these channels and leverage the data for them to be able to conduct strategic initiatives and projects. And so for this, Dreamdata and Hightouch were super useful, especially as we're transitioning to this new term that is, modern data stack approach, so where everything is centralized in BigQuery, in our data warehouse. For us, after that, to be able to have all this data, all these insights directly in our BI tool, so in Sisense, so other people call it Periscope. Yeah, so that the stakeholders, the business and users would be able to have direct access to all of these nice insight that we had with Dreamdata and Hightouch.
Awesome. You want to talk more about the solution to these problems?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of solutions, so yeah, as I mentioned, Dreamdata, so you have, just for a bit of history and context, that is the tool that we were using since, I guess, more than a year now, I guess, officially maybe. And so yeah, so we're using Dreamdata and Hightouch. So Dreamdata first to gather all of our customer touch points throughout the customer journey and have that reflected directly in our data warehouse in BigQuery. And so yeah, it's a very cool thing that Dreamdata did for us, because at first everything was in the app, in Dreamdata app. But as we're super data driven and we need to have all the data in the dashboard so that anyone can see all the insights, we needed to have all the information pushed BigQuery for us to be able to add more custom charts, I would say, for the marketing team, for the C-levels team, etc. So yeah, that's why we've been using Dreamdata for this. And also in terms of solution with Hightouch, we've been able to leverage all the insight that were gathered with Dreamdata to push them back to other tools that we're using, like HubSpot, other Vitally, also webhooks for Zapier. And yeah, so as written there, it's been mostly used for ads right now to track ads, audiences and conversions. Yeah, with a lot of retargeting with Alexa Rank or the e-commerce platform, all this being done through Hightouch with computed traits that we're doing, and also to send conversions events back. If we have time, I may show you some screenshots and live demo what we've been doing for this. And yeah, also the main use case that we had at first, the reason why we started using Hightouch really was to be able to push back all the Dreamdata insights back to HubSpot for all of our growth marketing teams and business development team, for them to be able to see like the actual attribution for a given deal, for a given lead. So yeah, that is mostly how we're using Dreamdata and Hightouch.
Yeah, it's really cool to see all these different use cases across the whole business, right? From customer success with Vitally all the way to acquiring customers with paid ads, and then maintaining customers with lifecycle marketing. It's just crazy to see kind of a great example of like powering your whole company with the modern data stack.
Yeah.
All right, move on to next slide. Ollie, do you want to take it away and talk about how Dreamdata works?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, Naomi is telling kind of mostly the story of what we're doing, right? So on the left side, we see kind of how many of us kind of been living for a very long time. We've been buying different kind of systems to solve silo problems to a large extent. Sales had a Salesforce, marketing had a HubSpot or Pardot or whatever. Product might even have collected data elsewhere, and often marketing has been using their ad platforms, but they hadn't been able to connect their cost and their spend in their ads with things that were actually real revenue. So they were talking about what's the cost per click or maybe cost per conversion. But in the B2B world, in particularly, I mean, the cost per conversion is relative if the conversion is the same company. So it's at least not a lead in the bigger perspective and linking towards revenue perspective. So we kind of take all that data from all these different sources, we copy it in to our kind of world, we clean it up first, and then we join it all together so that when you have a contact in Salesforce and you have a contact in your Zendesk helpdesk, and you have a contact in your tracking, we kind of link all those activities on that one contact together. But additional, we also resolute an account for the contact. So if there's an account in Salesforce, well, then it might be easy. But if the account is maybe not available, that information isn't there, the user might not even be in your CRM, then we kind of have different techniques to resolve it based on the data you have from other systems and falling back to domain and other things. So that gives you this kind of clean data model that you can use to analyze things that can be attribution and complex data modeling, or it can be more simple things like just show me the journey of this company, show me all people we know from this company who has actually interacted with us. What are they doing? What are they looking at? What content is relevant for them? And so on. Yeah, exactly. And this is the kind of the high level view of that. We extract all the data, we load it in, we do the transformation, we model it, and then we expose the data for you. So we expose it inside our app where we have an opinion about how you should analyze the data and show the data. But as Naomi is also telling, they are using more the export of it into BigQuery, where you can report on the data the way you need it to report it, either because we have maybe not considering that way of reporting it yet, maybe you have other needs, or maybe you need to use it to send it back into other tools using Hightouch. Maybe you need to do even additional machine learning. You have your own BI tools. That's all great. We kind of enable you to do that, so you don't have to do all the stuff on the left side. You can just start being actionable, whether that's about insight reporting or actually actionable in the sense that Hightouch can help you.
Yeah, that's a great segue in terms of what Hightouch does. So, okay, you have all this model data, right? Thanks to Dreamdata or any other kind of your in-house kind of modeling solution. And so what Hightouch does is basically help you use those data models and make them available in all of your business tools. So really Hightouch is really the easiest way to move data into business tools and really give you that 360 view of all your customers. And the best way is that you don't have to actually write integrations anymore. So again, you don't have to rely on your engineering team to build an integration to HubSpot, et cetera. You can instantly send data whenever you want. And then with data in your tool, you can run more personalized campaigns like Gorgias is doing across lifecycle marketing. You can also do it across performance marketing, of course, too. And we work with B2B businesses like a Lucid Chart or a Plaid or a Blend, but also B2C businesses too that are very marketing heavy. For example, like Imperfect Foods, Auto Trader, Betterment. And the biggest thing, I'm personally a marketer and I've been in the world where you have to upload CSVs every time. But with Hightouch, you can sync data in real time. And so you never have to upload a CSV ever again, which is a huge win for, day-to-day. And then so for marketers, Hightouch provides a centralized place for you to find audiences and then sync those audiences to all your tools. So let's say, we're an e-commerce company. Let's say we're Amazon or something like that. And, we want you to find an audience of all the users who maybe, went on our site, add an item to their cart, but then abandoned it and never actually checked out. So what we can do is we can define that audience in Hightouch in a centralized place, and then, sync that audience to all of our different tools. So like, let's say ad networks, email tools, and like lifecycle tools. And that way, I can go ahead and target them on Facebook to come back. I can send them a personalized email with a coupon, or I can, enroll them into a multi-touch sequence in Braze. So the idea is you have a centralized place where you can sync data everywhere. And it's super easy for, your team to, again, like Noemi was saying, having this multi-touch customer experience. And of course, there's really two ways you can define the data you want to send. Of course, if you know SQL, you can write it. But if you don't, which, many marketers may not know SQL, Hightouch also provides a product called Hightouch Audiences that lets you basically have a point-and-click UI to define the data you want. Let's say, in that previous example, I wanted to find all the users who abandoned their shopping cart. I can go ahead and easily do that visually. And that's built on top of the data models that your data team has built in the warehouse. All right, I'll pass it back to Noemi to talk about success and impact.
Yeah, sure. So before we switch to this, I just saw a Kartik question. I just saw Ule responding, but yeah, if there's anything unclear, yeah, we're super happy to explain again if there's anything unclear for sure. But yeah, so in terms of success metrics and impacts, so as we've been, so again, as our main metrics, what we're really looking into is closed AR and ensuring retention. This is the goal for the growth marketing team, but also the business development team. Switching to multi-touch with Dreamdata and being able to compute a lot of different traits to have actionable items via Hightouch was super fundamental for us, and it's really changed a lot of things, especially for the day-to-day tasks of our growth marketers. And so yeah, now thanks to Hightouch, first we are able to compute new traits and push them back to all of our different solutions like our CRM and HubSpot for to be able then to create new workflows or automated emails based out of the insight we have with the Dreamdata tables that are then reflected and made into action, let's say, with our Hightouch models. And yeah, in terms of impact, something that was super useful for the marketing team, especially for the ads channel and then outbound, is that they were able to leverage 100% all of the insights we had gathered with Dreamdata in terms of paid performances, Yeah, so they just leveraged all this information that is in the data warehouse, and then started to build new traits that were then pushed back to Google conversions, for instance, via Hightouch. And so yeah, so the TED channel was not existing in 2019, and it started in 2020, I would say, and then also 2021. And so yeah, now it's one of the most important channels, at least for marketing, and they're leveraging perfectly well Dreamdata, Insights, and Hightouch. So that's great. And also for the outbound channel, they are also looking into the performance that is made available with Dreamdata tables, and then with Hightouch there. I mean, I think that the outbound channel, they are the one who are using the most the Hightouch models that are then pushed back to HubSpot, or webhooks for Zapier, or even Google Sheets. So that's super helpful for them. And yeah, because outbound is mostly about automations for now. We also have an inbound SDR team that is more manual, but for outbound, everything is automated. And so having the Dreamdata tables and the Hightouch models, it's super helpful for them for all of their automations. And yeah, we're also starting to use Hightouch for a lot of different use cases and a lot of other teams. So for business development, but also product and success, being able to start creating new traits that are pushed back to other destinations that we didn't even thought of before, like customer.io for marketing emails, but also lots of other tools. So we're starting to look into Vitally, etc. So yeah, that's super exciting for them.
That's super crazy. I mean, this is such a crazy time to start building out the paid acquisition channel, right? Given all the crazy Apple IDFA changes and things like that. And so the fact that you're able to achieve success in this hard time for paid acquisition is really awesome. I think is also a testament to the need to have a data-driven approach. For example, like sending conversion events to Facebook and Google, so you're targeting the right people. It's just so much more important.
For sure.
All right, now's the fun stuff. I mean, it's always fun, but even more fun is actually seeing the products and seeing the actual workflows live. So we're going to go through a live demo. Noemi, would you prefer that I go through the slides, or would you want to share your screen? Your choice.
Actually, I can try to share my screen. There was an issue at the beginning, but I can try. Otherwise, we'll just share the screenshots. All right, so let me check. Okay.
Right.
Okay, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, so in terms of live demos, I was thinking maybe to show you maybe first the first model that we built with the Hightouch that was for Dreamdata, and then maybe have a focus on what we're doing with the ads channel. So all right, so there it is. So okay, if I click on that, will it work? It should.
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, so that is like the very first model. If you're looking at the models that we have, that's the very first model that we created back in February with Hightouch. So our goal here was to leverage all the data that we have from Dreamdata. Actually, I can also open Dreamdata. Yeah. Here, if I click on a specific company, all right, so let's see if it works. But basically, everything that you see here in the app of Dreamdata, we have all this information also in BigQuery. And so, yeah, all right. So that's, yeah, these are just examples of companies. So if I click on that one, for instance, just for you to have an example. So yeah, the goal really was to be able for each company, for each deal, so for each object there's nothing here. Okay, well, I'm just checking with another one maybe.
I'll pick one of the deals and go that direction.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. So maybe that one. Yeah. All right. So yeah, the goal really, so at the very beginning, so the first use case that we had for Hightouch combined with Dreamdata was to be able to have the information that we have here in Dreamdata back into HubSpot. So the way Dreamdata works with all of our other tools, that it's directly, there's a direct integration with HubSpot. So we have all of our different companies, deals, contacts, and what was super important for the teams, if I click here, yeah, you can see, we have the deal ID. Yeah, so what was super important for them was to be able to have these insights here. So knowing, okay, which channel were impacted in the creation of the leads, for instance. So here we see that was paid and some direct channel. And so, yeah, the goal really was to be able to have that back in HubSpot at the deal level, at the company level, even at the contact level, because most of the time when the head of dev or the head of marketing, like start to curate some deals for the reporting, they're not going to look into Dreamdata because it's going to be super long to look into all, all of the different customer journeys, but it's super helpful for them to have everything directly in HubSpot. So what we created in Hightouch, as we have access to all of the Dreamdata tables in our BigQuery. So yeah, here we have connected our Gorgias Growth Production warehouse in Hightouch. What we did is just to query data from this Dreamdata table that we have, and then start to to recreate the customer journey. We have to using SQL. So there are different ways to use Hightouch, either SQL directly, or there's it's a nice UI where you don't need to code. I think we're mostly using SQL, and so yeah, the goal really was to be able to recreate the attribution journey, with a JSON that would say add 90% of the deal, outbound 10% of the deal, these kind of things. And so then if I click, let's see, if I go to the sinks and I look for Dreamdata, let's see, okay, here. Yeah, so we see that it's connected to HubSpot. And so if I click on that, you will see that it's being run. So it's being run every day, once a day. And if I click on that one, for instance, yeah, we can see, like, I'm just going to take another one, maybe that one. All right, we can see that for each company ID, so for each domain, we're going to be populating this new property here that is called Dreamdata Attribution. And we can see, for instance, for that one, that it's mostly an agency partners deal. And so for this, we just leverage all of the Dreamdata information, pushed it through Hightouch, and then push it to HubSpot for the at the company level. And so that is super useful then, because then, okay, so if I click, am I able to have the ID here? Let me check.
Yeah, I think what's really cool in that model there is that this is like basically showing attribution across multiple touch points, right? So let's say they came from like 3 different places, you could also look at that as well, right?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think the company ID there, that is the company ID if you want to go into HubSpot and see it.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to copy it, but it's fine. I'm just gonna...
Yeah, I think maybe, yeah, I think this is awesome. I think yeah, seeing like what you do with the data once it's in HubSpot would also be interesting to know as well.
Yeah, was it that one? I don't remember. Shina Coffee. All right.
Yeah, that looks right.
And I think what is maybe, I mean, Naomi, you can kind of correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think many of the models here, the idea with what Dreamdata does and also Hightouch is, our purpose is to make this easy for you, so you don't have to do all the geeky work of small details that sometimes the data can be duplicated, sometimes there's exceptions, sometimes the sync doesn't run, whatever, right? Yeah. So that you can run relatively simple queries, which often I think can be built in those drag and drop or if else kind of, queries. You can run simple queries that doesn't require SQL experts in any way, and then send it back very easily without having to code with tools like Hightouch or with Hightouch here, right? I mean, that's really, I mean, I enjoy it. At least I can't actually code, but I don't like coding this type of stuff.
I think that's generally true. Like data engineers or engineers in general do not like keeping up with HubSpot API changes, right? So, and that means marketers and growth ops will never get the data they need if they have to rely on engineering. I'm seeing some questions from the audience. So maybe I'll start with a question here, which is, in your experience, what has been the ROI for attribution tools like Dreamdata and Hightouch?
All right. So sorry, I'm not seeing it. So I'm saying the HubSpot attribution not good enough. And then the other you said, okay,
is
maybe I'm
about
not seeing it.
basically the ROI for tools like Hightouch and Dreamdata.
Oh yeah. All right. So what we're starting to do, so yeah, for sure, it's been life-changing for us. I might not have like the exact number because we're just starting to compute the ROI for, we're just starting to look into our tool cost expenses. So, like having everything in our dashboards. So I can't say exactly how much it was, but it was definitely a life changer for us, especially for growth marketing and biz dev, because now we're able to have all the customer journey at one point, and also being able to, like compute new, create new strategies and initiatives based out of this add-on. So for instance, if you want, I can show you, okay, I'm trying to this, okay. Let me know if you see it. But if I go to multi-touch attribution analysis, like we have built a lot of different dashboards. And this way, we're able to, I have a lot of insights based out of Dreamdata, and also based out of all the Hightouch properties that we're doing. So we're able to see, okay, what is working well, how many deals have just one touch before the deal creation, how many have, I don't like conversions, or specific events happening. So it's been super helpful. And now, for now, we're using multi-touch for everything, especially for reporting, like at the C-level. So what we're so the data and metric that we're communicating to our investors are based out of multi-touch numbers. So it's very it's been a real change for us, like at the company level. But it's been great, especially because now we're able to, one of the goals was also to enhance collaboration between teams. So between growth marketing channels, but also between business development, but also growth marketing, saying, okay, if there is a net campaign click from ads, does it work well with an outbound positive reply, this kind of thing. And this way we're able to make sure that we're all working together to close more AR, because that's the main metric we're looking into. So and for Hightouch, we've been starting using the tool in February, when we started with this Dreamdata attribution property. And from what I heard, so I've been maybe creating 2 or 3 models, but it's now mostly used by the growth marketing team. And it's great. Like, it's a great tool, especially because in terms of identity resolution, there's not that many constraints compared to other tools. Like, we're able to map new properties through, we can just select, the right identity resolution field that we want to have. So in HubSpot, we can definitely push information for for us, we have 5 million companies in HubSpot. We could very easily push all the properties for all of them. But we can also, that's for HubSpot because that's one of the most important destination that we have in Hightouch. But it's also the case with a lot of other tools. So for instance, right now, as we started expanding our usage of Hightouch for other use cases with products, we're starting to change a bit our mindset and starting to use the tool for a lot of other things. So product with syncing with customer.io, for instance, making sure that so a use case that we have currently that is a very new use case using Hightouch is that we want to be able to target customers who change, in terms of price, change their subscription plans with a new feature that we created. And depending on the product usage, depending on what they have, we'll be able to push new emails through customer.io. So that's a new use case that we have for Hightouch. Super helpful. Highly recommend those 2 tools.
Awesome. And I'm seeing one question basically around like HubSpot attribution, like, was the HubSpot attribution not enough? Like, were there limitations that HubSpot didn't provide you? Like, because they provide, out of the box, they tell you, sometimes whether someone read a blog post, for example.
Yeah. So HubSpot attribution. So I saw, I think there's a new feature that they have that is like a widget in HubSpot where we can see either the linear attribution or we haven't really looked into it, but for sure, like it wasn't enough at all because there's not enough, because first the data that is received in HubSpot is very limited. It depends on what what you think of, pushing to HubSpot. And also it's not, it was not enough at all because we wanted to be, we wanted to be able to customize our model, which is not possible with HubSpot. Whereas with Dreamdata, we've been able to work closely together with the data team for them to understand our needs. Also, they've been super flexible and super fast in shipping new features. Like we're able to create a prioritization model based out of all of our segment events, leveraging UDM sources, UDM mediums, UDM campaigns, I mean, all these kind of things. And so right now we're using a W-shaped model, and it's very custom model, and it's always evolving and changing. It's always evolving because it has to answer the needs of our teams, so growth marketing and business development. And it's definitely not something that we could have done with HubSpot because it's very limited. It's very rigid in terms of attribution. So yeah, and also being able to, being able to have all the performance data, which is not possible with HubSpot at all. Like now with Dreamdata, we're able to have the performances at the ads level, organic level, outbound, and we're starting to think about having performances for the business development channel, which is very different from growth marketing in terms of use cases because it's more of a relational skill. So we're starting to add tracking for this, and we've been talking with our CSM from Dreamdata and their data team, and we're thinking about creating new features for this team to be able to track more things. So yeah, it's a lot. It's way better than just using HubSpot attribution.
Yeah,
that's good to hear. I can maybe add a little bit why people pick Dreamdata over using HubSpot attribution in general. So most customers who's like looking into an attribution model and attribution and not trying to look or have issues with HubSpot is because they need to get all the data in HubSpot. And so they get so dependent on HubSpot to make it work. So aside from some of the maybe depth and deep analytics you could do with Dreamdata, where you might not be able to go as deep with HubSpot, then the main issue for most is that, well, actually they use HubSpot, but they also use Salesforce, and they use also a helpdesk system, and they use also other email systems or marketing systems for different purposes. And there's nothing wrong with that. This kind of diverse tech stack, that's the modern tech stack, I think, for all marketing teams. And so HubSpot, for you to kind of really benefit HubSpot attribution, you have to ensure at least that all the data goes into HubSpot. You don't have to only use HubSpot, I think, but the companies where we see they maybe lean towards HubSpot attribution are those companies that bet on HubSpot. They say they have HubSpot, they use HubSpot for CRM, they use HubSpot for marketing automation, they use HubSpot for helpdesk, and for those, that might be a good option.
Yeah, that's a good call out. It really does help to have that centralized place, like, like the warehouse is a good example where, it's aware of everything that's going on, right? And Dreamdata as well as a tool, and aware of all your tools. Because again, multi-touch means customers are coming from everywhere. Love that. So we have one more question from Suleiman in the audience about, does Gorgias use intent data to personalize campaigns? Intent data.
Intent data. Yeah, so by the way, I'm wondering if there's anyone from our marketing team here.
Then I can answer. You do a little bit at least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we are. So yeah, currently. So so one thing regarding intent data and everything, just to give context, our marketing team has been using Dreamdata and Hightouch a lot for to personalize all of the campaigns. And in terms of automation and in terms of personalization, I mean, everything is personalized for sure. Like we're trying to, let's recap to the very first beginning. But what we're doing is, so we have in our team growth ops, and we have a growth engineers section. And so in our growth engineer with the growth engineers team, one of the focus is to enrich data. So it is to enrich our HubSpot CRM. So, using a lot of signals, so building a lot of scripts to enrich all of our leads in HubSpot, all of our customers and contacts and companies. And so, for instance, being able to enrich with the first name, last name, the job title, what is the Alexa rank of this lead, what is the e-commerce platform, and a bunch of other information that is super useful, like the number of Instagram followers, or, this kind of things. And so for this, we're using a lot of different vendors. So like we're using Term.io, Store Leads, Zoom Info, like this built with all of these. And so first, even before we started using Dreamdata and Hightouch, we used to have this data already. And so all of the automations were done via Outreach or Reply.io. That are tools, for for personalization and massive outbound emailing. And so we were already using this this information that is very specialized. And the cool thing now that we're using Dreamdata and Hightouch, first we noticed with Dreamdata, so with the data that we have available in Dreamdata, there's a lot of other information that we didn't have, or sometimes we do have them, or maybe not. So it helps, in terms of coverage. So for instance, with the job title, we have that with Dreamdata. We have the number of employees sometimes, it's a lot of information that we have. I don't know exactly how you're enriching this, Ule, but we have that thanks to your tables, which is super helpful.
So that's good to hear. And exactly, that's what, so at Gorgias, I know they use very many different enrichment sources, and I think many of us do, which is fine. So you enrich where you are in the CRM. What Dreamdata that we do, we kind of collect the data from your CRM, from your wherever you have the data, and then we pick the best kind of data we can and expose that. So we find the industry from your CRM. If it's not there, we might look in your marketing automation system. We might look in segment for at least for Gorgias's case. We also have enrichment cases. So we both kind of enrichment with intent data, reverse looking up the IP address and exposing that, but we additionally also enrich just kind of raw company data, like industry, annual revenue, those kind of things. So that comes out of the box, and often that's very useful. Though I lack to have seen really good cases of people who have used intent data in automation. I would love to see that. Personally, we have a list of things we would like to do ourselves in our own kind of marketing. And we would like to kind of take our own intent data and retarget people on LinkedIn using that. How well that will work, well, who knows? We haven't done it yet.
Yeah. And so in terms of intent data, again, so I guess the way that we're starting to use them, even though we're already, but we are starting to make that to the next level using Hightouch too, is that we have a bunch of scripts, that are hosted in either GCP or AWS. And so then all of these events, we just send events to segments. So for instance, I don't know, like technology dropped or added Shopify, or, all of this technology that might be considered as intent data. And so then based out of these, we are able to, as we have, all of these events and all this intent data in our warehouse, it means that it's directly available in our warehouse so that we can, compute new trades in Hightouch. And so then a way that we're trying, to personalize a bit more all of these marketing campaigns and initiatives is that we're combining all of the scripts from our growth engineers combined with the performances that we have leveraged with Dreamdata. So I don't know, like, how many ad campaign clicks were done, or how many, I don't know, click-through rates, all this I don't know, all of these events that we're gathering from Dreamdata through, segment and all of our tracking. And then with this, we're able to create new properties that we then sync back either to HubSpot or to Zapier to create new automations, like sending new emails or these kind of things. And one thing that we've been doing lately is that, okay, if I go back to the models, let me check. So, all right, just here. One thing, actually, I think it's also there, right? I think here I just added, I can give that example if you want. It's quite linked to it. But so a way that we've been, using the intent data and all of the ads data was first taking the data that is from Dreamdata so all the pet performance data that we see here. I just brought the numbers, but we have that in the warehouse. And then what we've been able to do is create new, like new properties based out of these. So here, if I click on that one, let's see. Oops. All right. So normally, so yeah, we have tons of models where we're leveraging a lot of intents. Is that one? Maybe not that one. Okay. But yeah, for instance, here you see it's email submitted, that it can be sort of an intent. I mean, yeah, we have tons of different tables that are reflecting the intent, the user behavior, I would say. And then based out of this, we're leveraging, all of these, all of the ads information that we have available in the warehouse. And then thanks to this, we're just creating new properties. Yeah, we're gonna start using DBT, by the way, too. And yeah, thanks to this, we're just creating new properties like qualified email submitted. Then we can push them back to Google Ads, for instance. And so here, if I click back here, oops, there's the that's an example of an automation that we did that is leveraging intent data kind of through Hightouch and with Dreamdata insights. So yeah, because what we did, for instance, is that here we just pushed another, let's say that with this model, I mean, the first model that we had, we pushed this new property to HubSpot. And so then thanks to this, we have, this automation in Zapier that says, oh, this property has changed for this contact, for instance, it's a qualified deal, it's a qualified lead, for instance, because they have clicked on this ad and they have performed this intent data like Shopify added. And so then we have a whole automation, and thanks to this, we're just gonna send back the information to Google Ads, for example, and then send the information also to segments. If I click here, let's see. Yeah, so yeah, we're just sending qualified customer, for instance. So that's the way for us to personalize our marketing initiatives, leveraging our intent data, and also Hightouch to provide to compute these properties. I don't know if it's clear enough, but yeah, that's just an example of how we're using all this for automation.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm glad we got to touch on both, like, paid, acquisition channel and use case, but also like, also an attribution use case as well. I think we are close to over time. So I think we can start wrapping things up, but thank you so much. I'm just going to quickly share my screen.
Sure.
Just share here, but so thanks so much everyone for attending. If you have any more questions, here are our emails, and I can also share, Noemi, if you're comfortable, I can share your email in the follow-up as well.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, but yeah, we're available to answer any questions you have after. But thanks so much for joining, everyone. And thanks so much, Noemi, for sharing your use case.